since you are from Brazil, you've been here 13 years. What is your view on America?
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, how do you feel about the fact that you're here?
I want to say that I made a choice to come to this country. It is the land of. I decided to come here to study, and I knew this was the land of opportunity. Right? I knew that I would be able here to pursue my dreams. Sure enough, I am. 13 years later, this would not happen in, I would say, many places in the world. I don't know about maybe some place in Europe, right? So that's the biggest advantage. The second biggest thing is Americans are open. So when you go to Brazil, right, and you are like, from somewhere else, like people make jokes about you, like Brazil especially, like we're very like
Believe, but no, joking way. Very, very funny, funny guy.
we judge. Americans are just like, you guys are so used to having everybody in your country, right? That you're kind of open to it. And that's interesting. It's fascinating to see the whole world in one place. There's nowhere else in the world that you're going to walk on the street and see every race, every religion, and every country.
And hear every language.
Every language, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy. And
Yes.
it's enriching. It really makes you grow as a human to be around all this culture. So it's very cultural. I love that. The part that's tough and very challenging is definitely like the culture. Americans are colder. Like if you think about Brazil, what do you miss in Brazil? Girl, I'm from Rio.
The warmth.
I was born in São Paulo, but I was raised in Rio. You miss you know your neighbor, right? You know your friend. Like it's a Tuesday night and it's 6 o'clock and somebody's gonna call and be like, hey, I'm gonna stop by for beer, and that's normal. And you're gonna be drinking beer until 10 p.m. and then you have to work next day. That's fine. And then during lunch on a Wednesday, you and your coworkers go to the bar and have lunch together. And it's lunch, rice, beans, and steak, not like a tuna sandwich. So there is a different culture. There's different happiness. There's different bondedness than in the US. Like in the US, everything is like everybody's busy. I remember the first time somebody turned to me and said, hold on, let me look at my calendar. Because I was trying to like meet up, right? Like have dinner. Then look at
That
my
is a
calendar.
thing. Oh my God.
And I'm like, damn, she has a calendar. Dinner's with friends. Like
Yeah.
that's tough.
And now you're that person.
Not really, not
No?
really. I'll tell you why. You make time when it's important for you.
That's true.
So for anybody here that's listening to this that know me, tell me a time that you asked me to be somewhere that I wasn't. I was there. You know who you are, my people. But like you make time. I would go for 2 dinners if I had to one night because that's a night that work for everybody. So you gotta, people.
Yeah.
The time is
Priorities.
Yeah, excuses are excuses.
That's true.
You gotta find time. But it's funny because like it is a thing. Like you don't meet up on the weekday with your friends ever in this country. Like my husband has friends that live 40 minutes away, and that's like a drive. 40 minutes away. 40 minutes away. I'm like, dude, 40 minutes. Like I'll go grab dinner, come back. Like I literally eat out in restaurants that are an hour away from my house, and that's totally normal for me. So like this is different. There's a culture shock. Like, we're way more close, I would say, in Brazil.
Yeah.
Like to people in general. I miss that. I miss the food.
Latin America in general, it's everybody is warmer, more welcoming, warmer, more community driven. Here, everyone, one of the biggest complaints, for people and for couples thinking of having kids or things like that is we don't have anyone.
Yeah.
It'll be us alone.
Yeah, it's like you don't have people. And it's like a fun fact, right? Like in Brazil, if there's someone like an electrician comes to your house, they enter and like, do you want some coffee? Want some tea? I'm making lunch. Want to have lunch? Like that's a normal thing. I'm not even joking right now. You literally offer lunch to someone coming to your house to perform service, right? And sometimes they're like, yeah, I'll have lunch, or like, yeah, I'll have a coffee. I've offered coffee to every single person, or even a water, and nobody accepts.
No, they get sketched out. They think they're gonna be on one of those investigative episodes. Woman killed me for fixing her electrical panel.
And it's Brazilian coffee.
And that's the thing too. There's a lot of distrust in this. Yeah.
So this is not great. I don't like that part. I do like too that I think it's good in America is like the safeness, right? So why did you leave Brazil? Right? You had a good life there. It's not safe. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Brazil is dangerous. I don't take my son. Barely go on vacation there now.
Man,
vacation
has it gotten worse?
Rio is terrible. Rio is really dangerous, right? My friends there drive armored cars. They have security. Their kids are tagged. It's crazy. I don't love it. Everybody's in gates and it's nuts. So I don't like that. I like how safe it is here. You can park a car somewhere. Of course, there's bad areas.
Yeah.
I lived in some.
Yeah.
Don't come here and tell me like, oh, you know what you're talking about. America has bad places. I lived in the hoods. I lived
Yeah.
in Newark, New Jersey. I lived by a project. Yes, my car got stolen in the United States, but I'll tell you, it is 100% times better than Brazil. I've been to Kensington, Philadelphia. I've been to Minnesota. I've been to some rough neighborhoods in this country, and I'm telling you right now, nothing's like Rio de Janeiro. It is dangerous.
I need to go anyway though.
Yeah, that's true.
I haven't been since I was 2.
You have to.
So I have
If,
to.
if you're Brazilian, it's easier too.
Yeah.
But it's like safety is a big thing. I love safety.
Yeah.
It's a cultural shock. It's always going to be a cultural shock.
No matter where.
No matter what.
If you went somewhere else, it would have been the same thing.
Yeah, I came late, right? I came, I was 24. So my
Oh,
whole life was in
yeah.
Brazil.
And for me, it's like I was 6, so for me, it's
You're more American.
yeah, yeah. Just like that's a whole different world. Yeah.
Different times.
And you were able to be here legally.
Yeah.
So you're here legally.
Yeah, I always say to people, like, there's also that question, right? How did you come here? And I'm like, well, I did not fly Cactus Airlines. I didn't cross the border. I came with
Cactus
visa.
Airlines.
Cactus Airlines.
Yeah, I came on a visa.
Which I have a lot of respect,
Yeah.
for people that are endangering their lives for a
Yeah.
better life. I wouldn't do that, but I came with
Yeah.
a visa. I came to study, right? So came for engineering. For the United States, it was very good. For them, it was a big deal, right? You're bringing engineers, someone that's going to study STEM as a woman.
Yeah.
So the doors were open for me. So that made it easy. The whole immigration process was much easier. Some people probably wouldn't have that lever, but the STEM degree helped. And then I got a job and then sponsored.
And a lot of people do that, and there's always the argument, well, they're not kicking out all the, I don't know, Russians, Japanese. And it's like, one, there's no border that they could easily cross. That's one.
Yeah.
So it's harder to get a bunch of Europeans
Yes.
crossing through Mexico
They're not gonna
when
just
they
like
don't have the access to it as easy as Mexico
South
does.
America.
South America in general, it's easier to get from South America to Mexico than to do all that elaborateness. So that's one. And then also they usually seek such programs that you mentioned for visa, student visas and things like that. Yes.
Because it's funny because like you come here to this country, which is not your country, right? It's not my country.
Yeah.
I came here to make a better living for my family.
Yeah.
I gotta give it back, right? It's not like you just come here, use it, and
Abuse it and then get caught and kicked out, and then it's like you're crying and shocked.
Yeah, like you came here and
Yeah.
you just abuse the country. Right?
Yeah.
So contribution is important. That's why I said the STEM degree, right? I hear people like, my dream is to live in America and study. Make yourself valuable.
Yeah.
If you make yourself valuable to the United States, you'll be fine there. Tell me, you're right. So that's important. Like the army, I always talk about that. I was
Yeah.
like, tomorrow if they said we're gonna legalize every immigrant, but you got to serve in the army for 3 years, would everybody do it?
I know.
Probably not, right? Because it's much easier to be like, oh, I just want the benefit. So I'm not against immigration at all. I do think everybody has their rights to try a better life.
Yeah.
But you also have to understand that there is
A way.
a way to do
There's
things
ways
right.
and then there's
There's
ways. And it's the ways. And people, if I ever say something like what we're saying, some people are like shocked. Like, oh my God, how
you're
could
Brazilian,
you?
yeah.
How could I'm like, because one, my parents had the utmost respect. My dad wouldn't even get a parking ticket, God forbid.
Yeah.
He was just very respectful and careful because he knew that at a certain point in time it was borrowed time, and my mom too, and you're in someone's home. It's not your home. You can't, you could F around and find out, but then don't cry about it. And then people, I had a friend say, oh, that could have been the position of your parents at one point. So I don't even know what I said wasn't even bad. And I was like, yeah. And if we would have been told, hey, you have to go, we will gracefully take the L and be on our way back. Because what a shame for me to bring up law. I have rights and the laws and this when I didn't think of the laws, when I decided to come here and let's say in the wrong way and invade. And I think if you bring it down to simpler terms like your home, it's like, would you just leave your door open? Don't lock your door at night. Invite all these people that we don't know their names. At least you, myself, luckily, when we came in, they knew who we were. They knew where we came from. Yeah. And it's like, but my aunt making things up is such a great person. I can't believe that she's going to be sent back. Oh, hey, why isn't she Why isn't she in the process of becoming a citizen, or why didn't she do it in the last 30 years? Because she committed a crime, so she's not allowed, and now she got deported, and they don't want to let her back in, and the lawyers are saying they can't help me, and it's like, I'm so sorry, but like they shouldn't be able to help. I don't want your aunt back. As nice as she is, it's like, why would you do that? Why would you set yourself up for failure? And then people give excuses to, let's say, someone stole and they got caught and they got sent. Oh, they needed to feed their family. They were not going to feed their family with a scarf from Macy's.
No, and let's talk about this, right? This is another thing. Let's talk about hunger and tough times, right?
Yeah.
I'm from a third world country, or two. You come here and I'm driving to the traffic light and I see this mother with a sign asking for money, right? In Brazil, every corner. And you look and you're like, yeah, they don't have ways to make money. If you are in the United States and you cannot make money, it's because you're lazy. There is
So many ways.
oh, I don't want to work at McDonald's. Well, that's your problem. I don't want to clean houses. That's your problem. Oh, I don't want to work construction. That's your problem. There is jobs. There's a shortage of people in the restaurant industry.
Yeah.
You can find people.
Yeah.
You can find people to work.
There's
There's
always
people
a
asking for
sign.
money.
There's always a sign need help.
We hire,
Need
we're
help.
hiring,
We're
we're
hiring.
hiring. In supermarkets, everywhere. Construction, house cleaning, those are jobs that always are going to be on demand. And then people are just asking for money in the traffic light. And you're telling me right now, oh, I had to feed my family and I stole? That's
Yeah.
the wrong country excuse. That's an excuse for a third world country when you cannot get a job.
No, I know someone was trying to fight to get someone back, and they did everything to try to get them back. And I'm like, why are they hitting a wall? Like, why are they not able to? You're an American citizen, you're their kid, you should be able to, since you were 21 or whatever, to. Oh, they decided to make and sell drugs at one point, and then they got caught, and then it's just like,
Oh, okay.
and then you think that you're owed a free ticket back because it just doesn't, like, the Justin Bieber is not registering. It makes no sense, and it's like, I could understand. I met the person. They're not evil, whatever. But did they really need to do that? No.
No.
They chose to do that because the other job that they were doing was generating enough money. They were living in a decent area. They were living decently. They decided to do that for God knows what reason, to cut the corner. And then you cry when you get caught. And it's the same thing with the cheater. It's the same thing with you cry when you get caught.
It's worth that. You can't be born with that, right? It's your family, it's your foundation. Ethics is something that, you know, it's what you do when nobody's looking.
Yes.
And are you given the opportunity, nobody's looking, what are you gonna do?
Yep.
It's you and God.
Yeah.
And that's what determines who are the good and bad.
Yeah.
And that's what determines what's gonna be your future.
Yeah.
Right? In everything that happens.
And you could get away with it for a long time. And those are the ones that cry the loudest when it catches up to them.
Yeah, you got caught. So it's like, it's sad and it's good that we're having this conversation. It's
Yeah.
very hard to have this conversation.
Yeah.
But again, you are a product of your choices. Every choice impacts your future. Going back to your country, going back to, if I had to be sent back to Brazil now, I would be a better person already. I lived 13 years in the United States, and I would bring way more value to my life in my country. So if somebody's leaving after they were here for a while, they learned a lot of things that they can bring back.
Yeah.
That's valuable. Maybe even the language.
Yeah.
If you cared to learn the language, because many people live here 20, 30 years.
Yes.
Don't learn the language. Again, another big problem, right?
Yeah.
But if you're going back home to whatever country you're going to and you're already speaking English, well, guess what? Maybe you could teach English. So you already bring something else.
You could always bring value.
Always, right? Always. There's always a good
Even when, back to what you mentioned about, oh, I'm in the car and you see someone with a sign. There's always someone with a sign next to someone with a cooler selling you something. And I will even give you the money and not take the product and let you sell it to someone else, because you're putting, that's your way to give value.
Yes.
And I sometimes want that mango or those flowers that come at the perfect time. Like, I need to go somewhere, and I would love to have these. And it's just like, if they could do that, why can't you?
Exactly.
And the thing is, what you would call, I guess, a beggar, a person that asks for money. This was years ago. They did a study on how much a beggar makes a day in Manhattan, like $250 a day, and they still couldn't find a way to bring value or to adjust their life to do something. No, but yeah, there's always a way to bring value. And I think I understand that every life is worthy and we should help each other and have each other's back. But I just can't get behind not wanting it to be a better system for everybody. Because what I'm hearing people fight for is the right for people to continue to cross unvetted. We don't know who they are, where they come from. It's not always a happy little family. It sometimes is adult males that are here to do God knows what, criminals. A lot of them are not, right? But what are they running away from? And how do you know? That's why there's processes in place. And my thing is, we also know the horrendous conditions of crossing. The people running those crossings are like what cartels, all those people. You owe them money when you get here, or unless you paid for them, and they will come after you, and that causes danger here. You know, people put their kids through that, and their kids get raped.
all the time.
People die because of the conditions. It's not a walk across a little park. It's like, why would you want people to keep going to this option that is the worst option for everyone?
Absolutely.
Is the worst option for them mentally, physically, in every single way, and then it's also the worst option for the people that are already here, because you don't know who these people are and the way they could come in themselves. Drugs could come in, arms could come in, bad guys could come in, and it's just like, why don't we avoid that? And if you care so much, find a solution. Make some kind of headquarters in all these other countries where you give resources on, like, listen, you're good at this. We could put you in this program that could bring you into the States.
Yeah.
You're really in danger. We're gonna first put you in a protective space while we process you getting out of that danger. You're hungry. We could give you these resources, and then you could do this. We could help you build this. We could help. There's so many options,
That's true.
but we keep going to the option that is, well, no one's illegal on stolen land, and it's conquered land. This is the way the world works. What do you think? Mexico speaks Spanish.
Oh yeah, this is Conquerland too.
Yeah,
That
you pay, yeah, and just live on it.
it's like indigenous land.
And there's like the squatter situation when it comes to real estate, and some people think that they have a right to just stay in someone's home. Oh, landlords make so much money. Are you serious? Some landlords only own one investment property and it costs them so much, and they're keeping up the cost and they're repainting and they're doing all this, and then they get a bad tenant, they don't get paid for.
And guess what?
They work to get it. And it's like a jealousy, it's like an anger towards people that are working hard because you don't
Generating
want
value.
to or don't know how to.
Generating value. Like
Yeah.
there's this hate towards the millionaires, right? You know,
Yeah.
like this like
Yes.
people just hate like, oh, you are an entrepreneur.
You need to give us your money.
Yeah, like I heard someone like saying that they gave his money away. I'm like,
It wouldn't do anything.
right, and he adds way more value to the country and to people generating jobs and everything than just donating money.
And you're ordering Amazon as you're saying that.
Right, exactly.
So if you really hated him and you really don't think he deserves the dollars, you don't use the product. Find your method of getting it better, quicker,
And
faster.
if giving money was a solution, people that win the lottery would be rich forever. It's not the
And they're the
case.
main ones that lose it all and end up in a worse place.
Right.
I think it never helped.
No,
You
like,
could
it
lead
didn't
the
work
horse to
for 'em.
water, but you can't make it drink. You could, what is it? Fish for a guy for a day, and you feed him for a day. I don't know. But I know the one of the fishing, right? So you feed a person for a day, and they eat for a day, but then you teach them how to fish, and they could eat for a lifetime. Exactly. And it's just like, there is solutions to this. We can't solve every single problem in the world when we already have problems here that we can't solve. But there is ways to it, and there's people doing it every day. There's just like, these companies that you're working with now, that they created these nonprofits for animals.
Yeah.
They saw an issue, a problem, and they found a way to create something where they could help, and people could donate at their own will, and people volunteer their own time and money and efforts. And I think there's so many ways to do that, and I think everyone wants to help. But I think, bringing it back to what I said in the beginning, we keep emphasizing on all the problems. We're aware of that. We know that all these issues, there's so much in everything: pets, humans, war, hunger, poverty, danger, whatever. There's a list, on and on and on and on. But we keep talking about it, but no one it's giving solutions. And that's all we need. Yes. Yeah. And we're so safe and so bored and so at peace, like you said, that we have the time and energy to just talk about it and whine about it and not do anything about it because we're still good. We have a roof over our heads. We're safe. We could eat. You don't know what the struggle is. And I think people in the struggle, they're the ones having to figure it out because we're just speculating and talking about it and rights and this and that, but yeah,
It's so crazy.
it is. I think it always has been, but we're just emphasizing on things. We're just seeing it more. There's social media. Yeah, it helps. And then there's algorithms, there's views, and you know, once a person is set on one way, that's what their feed, that's all they're seeing, and it's stressing people out.
Oh yeah. One fun fact, right? Like
Hmm.
I don't watch TV. I didn't have a TV for many years. I met my husband and he's a big sports guy and he's like, we need a TV. I still don't watch TV because my son watched TV, the Elmo, Sesame Street. But one of the best things I've done in my life is to not watch TV. I do not scroll social media on things that don't add value to my life. I do fashion. I like fashion. I like fashion a lot. So I do little things, influencer stuff. But I don't get into that game. Did you see what happened somewhere? I'm like, is it gonna change my life right now?
Can I do anything about it right now?
No, no. I'm gonna keep chasing.
And they're like, you
my
have to
dreams.
talk about it. Whoever's not speaking up about this or that, they're not bringing awareness. There's enough awareness. I don't think we're lacking awareness. I think we all know what's going on. Lacking action. We're lacking solutions. We're lacking logic. I don't know. We're lacking a lot of things except awareness because we have awareness of everything right now. Every month is awareness of something. Like there's awareness of everything. We know cancer exists. We know like we've been waiting on a solution for cancer and there is out there, but we don't know about the good parts. We don't know about the solutions. We only know about the problems.
Sure. Treating the actual symptom and not the root cause. That's what we do, right? So we
That's what we do.
hunger politics. We always using like a remedy because like think about drug, right?
Medicine, I was gonna say.
It's treating you the symptom, not the actual
Problem.
and that's how we live life.
And that's how the problem grows.
1000%. And then going back, like that's full circle conversation because entrepreneurship for the people that actually make it and the business world, the people that find a solution and not the drug. You don't, oh, okay, I bought a franchise. I'm the owner of a McDonald's franchise. Are you the owner of the franchise or are you the owner of the Linden McDonald's?
Yeah.
That's a different
That's a
story.
different.
And that's the solution, right? You either are the person behind it and finding a solution or you're just consuming the drug,
Yeah.
which is like, okay, what causes cancer? Okay, then we should treat that and not just make people live longer with cancer.
And they say, no, 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 but just take this and you'll be good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, how do next generations prevent that? So it's for everything. It's like that poverty, right? Like you give people food, but you're not fixing poverty. You're not fixing hunger.
You're not fixing hunger. They're going to need food again the next day.
Exactly.
And do you have
How do
the
you make
donation
that
for the next
happen?
day and the next day and the next day and the
Right.
next? No,
You don't.
you don't.
And that's the issue, right? Like, what's the best solution? Well, they should plant because then they will have food, right? So they should have a cow. They should, farming, right? So like these are things that these are solutions.
There is actually a company that I have donated for that they donate. Your donations go towards giving a family a goat or chicken.
Exactly.
And then with that, they feed their family. They could sell the excess. And it's just that's a whole different.
That's how you solve the
That
problem.
makes when they explained to me, I was just like, yes, I could get with that.
That makes sense.
Then you chasing me down for cancer research, which listen, I get it, understand. Trust me, it's touched my life personally. I get it, but I know they're not finding a solution, and I know that the things they're recommending on that very website are not helping cancer. Is probably making it worse. So it's like even for a headache, I'm just like, you don't get the headache and think about what could I take my head. Maybe I'm crazy, but I'm just like, I'll drink a glass of water. Maybe I'm thirsty.
Yes.
I will. Maybe I need a nap. Maybe I need to breathe.
What is your body telling
What
you,
is your
right?
body? And and we're smarter than we keep we keep doubting ourselves and how much we know, especially about our own selves. We're feeling it, and I think we just made it into this this world became, especially America, I think, or I think the world now, where it's like this random guy in a white coat, he knows better for you than you. He'll talk to him for 2 minutes and he's like, oh, you have to take this and do this and do that and that. But he doesn't know anything about how do I solve the fact that I keep getting this headache.
Yes. Let's investigate why is your body keep your head.
And it could be a million things. Like I said, it could be you're thirsty, you're overwhelmed, you're hungry,
Lack of sleep.
mold. Like the craziest things could be the reason for it. And guess what? That Advil is not gonna do. It's not gonna hydrate you. It's not gonna take away the mold in your, behind your walls. It's not gonna feed you. It's not gonna take a nap for you. And people just want that easy solution. The easy solution is never the solution. It's just the band-aid.
Yeah, it's I saw a doctor interview once, and he was like, "Well, someone comes to my clinic, and the first thing I ask is, all right, blood pressure, heart rate, right? All the basic stuff. You go to the doctor, they take all that stuff. And then he sits down with you and he's like, okay, how many hours do you sleep? What do you eat? Do you exercise? 90% of people will say, oh, I don't sleep that well. Yeah, my diet, especially in the United States, right? The diet's not great. And I maybe exercise. Well, then when you do those three things, you come back to me. Because like if you're not doing the basics for your body to function, then you just want a drug. That's what you want.
Yeah.
Right?
And if you don't give them the drug, they, oh, that doctor was horrible. He didn't give me the drug. He told me that I need to do.
People just, it's a prescription based society.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So you need to understand that there is basic functions for you to function, and your engine is not very well oiled,
Yeah.
It's gonna break. So yeah,
if your car is acting up, you take it to diagnostics. You put it through the computer. The mechanic opens everything. They check if there's any leaks. But we don't do that with us. It's like, okay, I know this takes away pain. This drug covers this. This changes your chemical balance to make yourself believe that it's not that. And it's just like, and I've always, I mean, my mom, so she's a doctor, she's a medical doctor. She went to school to become a doctor. She became a doctor in general. And she had her clinic and she worked in hospital, and she realized that that just wasn't the world for her, because she noticed that very early on that we're not solving we don't have solutions here. We're just covering up problems. And then a lot of shady things that, they would come to her clinic and say, hey, we noticed you haven't ordered this medication in a long time. She's like, none of my patients have needed it. And they're like, oh, well, so and so donates X amount and he's already winning a trip and a car and this and a bonus and this and this is Colombia. My mom's 76, so this was like, think about it, Colombia, third world country, years, decades ago, as opposed to America, which has always been more advanced in that sense. And she was noticing all this and not turning a blind eye to it. So she turned more towards the holistic side and the beauty side and kind of went that way. But yeah, it's crazy. And sometimes, especially if you became a doctor, that's a title, the amount of years, time, effort, money that it took, you kind of might want to turn that blind eye because you did not get here just to.
Yeah, 1000%. And I'll bring another point. I'm if you're a good doctor if I give you no equipment and you are in the middle of Africa and you have to figure stuff out. It's like you're telling me the engineering and where the engineering had, right? Biomedical engineering. When you make a machine that tells you everything, you read a report and you prescribe the drug. Okay, Loretta, I'm a neurosurgeon. Okay, that's a different story, my friend. 100%. Don't want to be in your shoes. You're operating someone. Yeah, you are doing your shit. But you're sitting on a desk just reading a paper and give me a prescription. This doesn't make you the same doctor that is in the middle of Africa with no equipment, no paper being like printed out of a machine, and has to figure out a bunch of stuff,
Yeah.
right? There's different levels to the profession. I'm telling you because I do know doctors that are in the Amazon forest with indigenous tribes, right?
Yeah.
Who don't speak the language, who get sick, and they don't want to take vaccines because it's against their religion. So, like the real world, right? So I envy the doctors that are out there figuring out without all of this, because it's very convenient to sit and say, I studied 15 years to just prescribe you something that a machine told me that you have, right? And again, without even asking me, I can't tell you how many times I've been to a doctor, for me, my son, and my husband, that did not ask, what do we eat and if we exercise?
Thing. They don't
I have
answer.
never been to a gynecologist in this country that asked me, like, how's your sex life? Like, I'm sorry to tell you, like there is things that are extremely important to know about a patient, like,
Yeah.
and their nutrition is one of them.
Yeah.
Like just ignoring that and just be like, okay, yeah, you have anxiety. Well, why do you have anxiety? We're just not gonna medicate the shit out of someone. What's going on in their life? Maybe they should exercise because that's gonna give it endorphin, right? Or maybe you should eat better because some toxic foods make you more anxious. Fried food makes you, more,
Or you might be
unhealthy.
intolerant to something, or it
Right.
might be, you're eating too much of it, or
Exactly. And then
whatever.
it's creating all these issues internally. But it's much easier to just give you a medication,
Yeah.
right? So like there's a problem out there. Like with this like we call opioid issue. It is
Yeah.
a drug issue,
Yeah.
regardless of being opioids or not. It's like it has to be
And
treated.
doctors are just professional drug dealers.
That's right, friends. We're gonna be canceled at this point. We went political and now
And
we're
I
just
mean, and I always say, people, there's a place. I think America have an amazing emergency room.
yes.
Trauma,
Yeah.
that's where we need it.
Yes.
When you break an arm, I'm not going to, my great grandma who, that's when you need it. Like
Surgery.
my son, I'm very medically away from the medical world. Personally, I was, like I said, my mom's a doctor and then she's turned holistic. Like I've always been very luckily had a very chill medical life. I never needed much intervention. I just never really got too sick, never broke a bone. I'm not crazy. I was a good child. So, but I knew that when there's a time and place for it. So when my son, obviously he needed these things, I'm so grateful that we have it, because his condition, what he had, he wouldn't have survived in another country, or even a couple years, like
Yes.
a few decades back. Like there was no solution for that. Those kids, they just waited for them to die out, pretty
Yes.
much. So I am so grateful that we do have the advances in certain places where they are needed. The problem is when we just rely solely on like
The technology.
the technology, the advances, and we think that just because it's newer, just because it's science, just because it's, the doctor said it, that it's superior, when for a lot of things it isn't. Because if it was, people wouldn't die.
Then I say like, why do you need a Latino wife? And then the guy says, because somebody has to tell the server I ordered mashed potatoes and not French fries.
Yeah.
And that's America, right, guys? Like
Yeah.
it's true. Like United States, people don't complain. You don't go to a doctor and you're like, "Are you sure about that?" Like, how many of you watching this podcast right now went to a doctor appointment? The doctor told you something, and you're like, "I don't know about that. Are you sure about that?" Like, have you ever said that to a
Me.
doctor? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Just
it's a
me.
few of us, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a few of us that would question
Because
authority,
yeah.
right? Police, would you question the police? Like guys, questioning authority, right? What you think
Yeah.
like a doctor's authority because he's better than you, he's studying more than you, and he's gonna tell you if you're gonna die. But like you don't question, right? You just take it and go home.
Yeah.
How many people go home with all these questions?
Yeah. Or how many times do you ask a question and they
you
said they'll get back to you,
Yeah.
that they're gonna go look it up? I could do that too. And then they said we have a special system that's like our special Google. And I'm just like,
Google research.
so my son's right there. I need an answer now, and you're gonna go to your special freaking Google. I'm like, all right, I guess I'm gonna go to my special Google and try to figure it out too, because and people really don't. And how many times did people say like, I really felt like I shouldn't have done that or taken that or did this for my kid, but the doctor told me so. They have to be right, so I did it. And I'm like, the doctor's a person. You don't know if he cheated on his tests. You don't know how many times he was high, like going to class. Like he's a person. He's not, and they're not perfect. And I think obviously you're very knowledgeable in what you're very knowledgeable in, but you're not knowledgeable in nutrition, because doctors don't do extensive nutrition. You know what I mean? And then the learning, my mom said that too. Like back in her training, it was very like in the wild, figure it out. Like, what do you do without that? And like, tell me what's wrong with that patient. She's told me about this, and then she's like, oh well, I need my thing, my that. And they're like, no, what could you look at to give you clues and answers without the equipment? And then that's how it was. But things change. Now it's like you have your equipment, everything is it's just changed so much. And I mean, medicine is, for the most part, if you think about it, 150 years old. If you really think about modern medicine and where we're at, and how did we survive until then? How? You're telling me we should have all been dead and extinct because, in the 1900s there was no COVID shot. Like, you know what I mean? It's like you can't tell me that that's the case, because how did we make it so far? And just now, in these couple, this very little glimpse of time, we've made all these medical advances. It's like, and then we're saying we're much smarter than, a grandma who used to heal her 16 kids left and right from all these little things with the simplest things. But we have to make everything so complicated, and that if it's not a person with a degree, they don't know any better.
And it's like,
I don't think that's true.
oh, people didn't live that long back then. Wow. But now they live long and they are unhealthy.
Sick as hell. I don't want to live long with a diaper.
Oh, they're 9 years old and then in nursery home.
Yeah, I don't want to live long if I have a diaper with poop until somebody changes me.
Right. It's like, it's interesting. It's definitely interesting.
And you know what's funny? I went to Boston, to Salem, and I went to, and then we did, those like Halloween season tours, the witch, whatever, whatever. And we went to a cemetery, and then they were saying, someone said, you know what? You know how they say, like, oh, we didn't live that long back then? They were like, that's kind of a misconception. If you look at the tombstones, these people live relatively long. The thing was, like, if you made it out of childhood, like if you didn't die off something in childhood or whatever, you lived normal long life. And usually the things people die for had less to do with like health and more to do with just like life and things and war and like so they were like, if you look at the tombstones from these times, some of them lived relatively what you would call a long life now. But what it was is like if you made it past a certain age, then you were kind of like in the safe zone and you could live a full life.
Yeah, nutrition, exercise, right?
Yeah. And I think there a lot of practices, a lot of medical professionals are trying to marry the two, or trying to marry multiple different kinds of methods to a healing, right? So there's a lot of centers for certain things that are incorporating therapies that are either they're old but are new in a medical setting, or that were considered, acupuncture, chiropractor, even for addictions, they're trying to incorporate mushrooms or like psychedelics and things that, that are like drugs are crazy. Hopefully, we keep pushing forward with that. A lot of people are really trying. It just takes those few doctors who really just are open to it and try to incorporate it all together. But yes, there's definitely a need, and I always get that. Oh well, if you're so against this, then never go to a hospital and die. I'm like, no, there's a purpose for the hospital. Everything has to be extreme. It's like either you use it for everything and you live by it and die by it, and or you never use it again. I'm just like, I like to use the best of all my worlds. I was like, birth, I'd rather be home. To me, it's not an emergency. If I, like I said, if I break a leg, I'm going to the ER. I'm not gonna go and try to like bandage it up myself and put. People say, "Oh, you're gonna put essential oils." I'm like, no, like it, there's a place for everything. And the thing is, when you abuse the things that were created for good, you could cause harm. We're at a point in Brazil, especially too, with, let's say, C-sections. Everything's a C-section, and they've abused, and that's where the harm comes because it is not always a place for C-sections. You know what I mean? There's a place for things, and when you neglect that, when you just do it for your own convenience, because it's easier and faster to just cut you open, get it out, and go to my dinner plans as a doctor, that doesn't mean that that was the best, safest way. You could miss something. People are allergic to the anesthesias or whatever they use, the antibiotics, whatever. So it's just like it's dangerous, and people say like, oh, you know, but it's dangerous at home. Yeah, of course it could be. But then if it wasn't dangerous in the hospital as well, then we would never have mothers die or babies die. And we have that every single day. And it's unfortunate. So it's like choose your safe
Choose your heart.
and then choose your heart. Yeah. We really went on
Yeah, a tangent.
on a tangent.
We've covered
Should
a
have
lot of
been
ground.
covered a lot of ground, and I'm glad we did. I think that was great. I think the theme is definitely find solutions. Let's find solutions. If you have solutions, let me know. I want to know. I want solutions too. If I figure out a solution to something, I would want to share it as well. I think that's just where we're at. We need to be kind, be open minded, like from everything we just said and on. Be resilient.
Respect other people's opinions. They're different than yours, and you don't
Yeah.
have to be enemies.
Yeah. And you'll never find someone that has 100% the same opinions as you in every single thing.
1000%, that's true.
Something
But you still gotta live in society, right?
you still gotta, and people, and we relate more than we're different. We all have to eat and sleep and shit.
Exactly. It's the
So
basics, right?
we all relate more than like the little differences. You prefer red, I prefer pink. Like just that's just nothing.
And what's when worse comes to worse and you are in the trenches in the war, we're all one.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why people come together in disasters. 9/11, no one was asking,
How much
you
money
know,
you
who
make.
you voted for.
Exactly.
Yeah, like, oh, you don't have a degree or no one's asking
When
that.
was it?
Yeah. And you're there and you go back to the basics of humanity and that connection and that want to help, to be a part of community and to really to give value. We always go back to that. How can we help? How can we help? Do you need a hug? We always go back to that when there's a problem. And I think we should just do that all the time. There doesn't have to be a tragedy in order to come together.
To bring people together.
You know, the, someone doesn't have to die for you to give them flowers.
Yeah, that's true.
You know.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Well, thank you so much again, Loretta. It was so great. If your pet ever needs a cone, Caddy Pet Solution. Yeah, any questions, reach out to Loretta. She's more than happy to help you. Maybe not really hard engineering ones, but but she'll probably take them and figure them out.
Read, it's free. Oh, it's like $20. It's basically free.
There's free now. Go to the library.
Yeah, exactly.
Serve for some time. Then I mean, there's no shame in that. You had a whole career. You were a business owner, and you were here putting plates for someone else. And I don't care. I'm
Make your
just
thing and just stop caring.
yeah.
Nobody pays your bill.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, you could judge me from your table, but I got money and I could pay my bills and I could fund my business. Okay. So follow your dreams, do what you gotta do to make them happen. That's where we're at.
Love it, Chuck.
Bye. So funny that we didn't turn on the lights.
That's true.